Good morning. Welcome to TIQ-TV, episode 3, where we have the wonderful Joanna Handley. Good morning, Joanna. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine. Thank you, Simon.
Good. Thanks for joining us on the show. Don't be nervous. We've had a bit of a preamble before we came on. As we said, great to have you on, and give us a quick introduction into who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I am Joanna Handley. I'm the research director at Intelligence Qatar, which is a research agency and marketing strategy consultancy. I've been in Qatar for 12 years. I've been doing this job for almost 3 here in Qatar. And yeah, I'm living in this country and enjoying everything that it has to offer.
Wonderful, wonderful country that we've called home for both of us for well over 10 years.
Yeah.
And married, and you've got a young daughter, is that right?
Yes, I am married. My husband owns a real estate company, and my daughter Darcy, she is 8 years old.
Fantastic, fantastic.
And several rescued animals.
Say again?
And several rescued animals.
Several rescued animals, a bit
There's
like
quite a few of those around.
And there's still far too many to rescue, unfortunately.
Very true. Very true.
So you are a research director. Now that
Yes.
can cover a magnitude of
Yes.
things. So tell us a bit about what Intelligence Qatar do. Obviously research, but what kind of clients are you involved in and what kind of research?
So we work for all types of clients across the whole country. So we work for government organizations, semi-government organizations and private clients. And we will do any kind of research, be it consumer research or B2B, or anything really that they ask us to do. Now, research can be anything from testing communication to measuring the impact of an event, to understanding perceptions and attitudes towards certain subjects, to testing the launch of new products. It's basically giving feedback to clients that they will have a question and they want an answer to it, and they want to go out and do some primary research to find out what that answer is. Okay,
fantastic. What kind of challenges do you face?
Well, doing research is never easy. I mean, you know, I can be bombarding people with, you know, asking people to complete surveys and can you just answer a few questions for me? And it's not always easy to get people to accept. So that's on the one side, but you know, that's our job. But on the other side, it's also about communicating to clients how important research is. You know, it's about getting them to do something with the results that we provide for them, and it's about getting clients to understand that, you know, maybe you're not where you want to be right now in terms of your brand. We've given you all the tools to get to where you want to be. You've heard from the general public what their feedback is about your brand and about your product or about your services, and this is how you need to get there. And it's about working with clients to make sure that they're actually actioning the recommendations that we provide after doing the research.
Yeah. And is it particular sectors that you prefer to focus on? Are you working, you know, mainly public sector, or are you assisting with the SME sort of expat startup market, or is it a combination of both?
It's everything. So we do a lot of work in the entrepreneurship sector of Qatar. Our clients are, you know, Qatar's really big on entrepreneurship and innovation and things like that. So we are asked a lot of our time is spent on that. But we are working for so many different organizations, Ministry of Public Health. We do so much research for them. And even, you know, private companies, banks, automotive companies that want us to test new cars for them with the general public, all sorts of things, really. It can be, the job itself is so varied. But yes, I would say a lot of what we do is based on entrepreneurship and finding out, you know, what drives people, what motivates people to start a business.
And then does the results that come from that, does that then lend itself into defining the marketing strategies that they need to move forward with, whether it's a yearly strategic plan or on a particular campaign or a particular product? Is it that kind of information that you're assisting with?
Absolutely. So a lot of the work we do is actually published. So we will write national reports for Qatar based on our findings, and these are then published. We work on providing KPIs, key indicators for companies. So they want to know, look, what should we be measuring?
Yeah.
How do we measure the performance of our brand, the impact of our events, the impact of our communication? What do we need to be communicating to people? So a lot of our stuff is published, and then a lot of our stuff is just, recommendations that are really focused on strategy and how to communicate, who to communicate to, what to communicate, when and where.
I mean, I could assume, and I'm no different to many others, certainly as an SME and when we were a startup, that you could end up going down a rabbit hole in completely the wrong direction by not testing the campaigns that you're doing, and you end up wasting time and, of course, money. And I would assume that that's what you're trying to avoid for your clients, so that you can kind of pull the reins on it a little bit, drill the well a few times, or drill different wells, and let's see how deep we can go, but ensuring that there is some value and return on investment. I'm sure it will take some time to do that. Therefore, is a lot of this research over a longer period of time, or how quick does the campaigns and research tend to take? So
communication campaigns, I mean, you would need to test sort of before and after the campaign to test, where the brand is now, and then run the communication and then test the impact on the brand. So run the same questions again and see if that communication has had an impact on the brand, whether it's affected it, positively, negatively, or along those lines. But there's also a lot of work to be done before that communication campaign actually goes out. So, campaigns should be tested. They should be storyboarded. Concepts should be tested. You should, creative agencies very often provide three communication campaign routes to their clients, right? And then the client will decide which one to go for. They should test those. People should have an opinion. People will have an opinion. There will be suggestions, changes, all sorts of things. You might be, targeting the wrong audience, or having a key message that isn't clear, or you may be communicating something or putting something out there that doesn't represent your brand in the general public's eye. So it's important to test things before they go out, and then measure the impact that they have, so you know what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, and how to keep pushing the brand forwards. When I was in Dubai, I was in Dubai for 4 years before here, and before that in Paris, and before that in the UK. Oh, wow. I've been working in research for almost 20 years now, and these markets, they test everything. Clients they want answers. They use research really, really strategically, and they really rely very, very heavily on the results. And they use research to inform all of their marketing, all of their strategy, their brand strategy, their product development, their sort of customer journey, all of those kinds of things. Research is the first part of any marketing sort of journey. Yeah. And here, it isn't always the case. Qatar is getting there, definitely, but it really is about learning, ingraining into people's minds that research is essential to developing a good business.
I'm going to pick up on a word that you just used there, ingrain or ingraining.
Yeah.
I think personally, I'm quite well ingrained in Qatar's progress, whether it's my individual progress, my company's progress, partners, or as an expat. We always like to see, I don't know if you're the same, but I always like to see Qatar do well. Yeah. I always like to see Qatar progress. Doesn't matter if it's 1% at a time, it's still going in the right direction, which it is. Yeah. Doesn't matter if it's infrastructure, if it's communication, if it's services, whatever the case may be, if it's brand identity. I don't like hearing the negativities. Who does? But we do have a bit of a soft spot. Do you find yourself, with the fact that you've been here as long as I have, are you quite ingrained in that way of thinking about Qatar? Are you quite focused in helping Qatar move forward because you know what you've achieved in Dubai, dare I say it, but mainly Europe, and what you've been able to achieve there, and you want to bring as much of that to the table here?
Yeah, absolutely. I love this country. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. I absolutely love living here. I just think that we are in such a good place for my daughter to grow up. And where we live, we just live in an amazing house. The weather's great. Just, we wouldn't have this if we were back in the UK. And I have seen so much progress, and in 12 years, the country has changed enormously. And I think it's brilliant. And anything I can do personally and professionally to push this country forward and help them achieve their national vision is huge. And that's what the country is working towards, right? The 2030 national vision, that's what everybody is focused on. And I think it's hugely important.
Yeah, I mean, the World Cup sort of expedited that part of that 2030 vision with the infrastructure. I mean, the infrastructure alone, I remember visiting friends, when I came out 2008, and you go down to places like Sea Line, it takes you well over an hour. And, recently you take the new peripheral road and you're there from where we live on the same side of the city, within 40 minutes. I mean, it's crazy.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
20 minutes from Salva Road. It's fantastic.
Look at Lusail. Lusail as a development is amazing. Look at Masharib, the smart city. It's just fantastic. Like, you can see what they're trying to do.
So the master projects have come to fruition. They've blossomed. The airport got a lot of stick, but it's now winning awards. You've got the new port, which is ever expanding. You've got the infrastructure. You have the rail. You have the stadiums that have, again, awards and great, PR, with the fact the World Cup is coming. New cities like Lusail, Wakra's expanding, Al-Khor, Pearl is still developing. You've got Garwan Island, Ketafan Islands at the rear. You've got the malls that have gone ahead. There has been so much expansion. And now, if anything, it's not plateauing. It's just kind of calming a little bit before the storm of the next 18 months, which is going to be a bit of a mad rush to get ready for an event. We've got infrastructure that will last us beyond the World Cup for the 2030 vision. The event of the World Cup is now going to take precedence to get ready for that sort of 3 months of just sheer absolute mayhem. Are you going to stick around in November?
Yes, I'd like to. Yeah. We're all kind of thinking we definitely want to be here for that. You wouldn't want to miss it.
No, not at all. Not at all. It's like an achievement in itself if you stuck around, because we're in such a transient lifestyle within the Middle East. I mean, any expat kind of a transient lifestyle, isn't it? People come and go. We lose friends, we gain friends, but it's nice to sort of have that people that are like us, and obviously Dan as well, your husband, that's ingrained in Qatar and love it for what it is and love it for what it offers and positivity. Let's jump back a little bit to, you mentioned earlier about this entrepreneurship within the country. I've run several businesses. You work with several startup businesses and SMEs. You're part of the Resolution Group, which we know Simon and Kirby very well over. And again, they've been here for many, many years. What do you get involved with regards to the entrepreneurship? Is that also part of your research? And do you get involved in the initiatives and programs? Tell us a bit about that.
So we run the yearly Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, which is sponsored by Qatar Development Bank. And it is a huge study in several countries, many countries, 70 countries, I think, worldwide, where they do a survey with the adult population as well as national experts to understand what the level of entrepreneurship is in every country. And these results are published every year. The results, the countries are all compared, so you can see, who's got a really high entrepreneurship score and what the countries are doing to really promote entrepreneurship in their communities. Now, so we've done this every year for the past 5 years for Qatar Development Bank, and entrepreneurship in Qatar is huge. it is one of the most entrepreneurial countries in the region, for sure. And it just has, there's an incredible wealth of really switched on people who are really creative, really innovative, and are ready and waiting and up for starting their own businesses. And Qatar has actually an amazing provision and response, and is ready to accommodate all these entrepreneurs. And they do so much. And I think sometimes that people don't know how much Qatar does in the sense of entrepreneurship, and in fostering entrepreneurship and promoting it and helping people incubate and accelerate their businesses. I think sometimes people are not aware of that. But in terms of, there's two aspects to this. In terms of entrepreneurship in general in Qatar, the level is huge. I think it's 14.7%. That is the total early entrepreneurship score for the country. And so there's this aspect, which is huge. There's a great amount of entrepreneurship here. And then there's the other aspect, which is from the Qatar side, where they really, really do try and foster it and do what they can to help promote entrepreneurship.
With regards to people don't maybe understand the amount of promotion or initiatives available, or what Qatar is providing. Is that something that Qatar as a whole needs to do better with regards to the communication? And again, is that where you potentially come in with those strategies to assist them push those programs more out to the population?
Yeah, it's not what we're doing at the moment. We're more in the sense of understanding where the country is at and measuring the current situation, evaluating the current situation of entrepreneurship in Qatar and what's going on. The fact that people don't know about all the entrepreneurship programs and initiatives that are available in the country, this is my personal opinion. It's not something I've researched yet, but it is my personal opinion that people are not aware. There are literally hundreds of programs, incubation programs. Yeah.
What are the key ones?
Pardon?
What are the key ones? What are the most popular ones?
I would say, Qatar Development Bank, obviously, does a lot for entrepreneurship. Qatar Foundation, QSTP, Qatar Science Technology Park, part of Qatar Foundation, has got so many different programs that are open to all residents. Ministry of Transport and Communications, they have entrepreneurship programs, they've got accelerators, they've got the Tasmu Digital Valley. We're very focused on tech, I would say, in Qatar, tech innovation, but it's not all about tech. There's loads of things that, there's hundreds. We did do like an entrepreneurship ecosystem, and I don't know it off the top of my head, but there are sort of 7 stages of entrepreneurship from the beginning of the idea right to stage 7, which is accelerating a business. And Qatar has influence and provides help on all 7 of those stages of starting a business. Yeah.
And they've made it a lot more slick and cost effective. Manageable to actually start up a business. I mean, obviously, Qatar Financial Center have had a huge impact on that by offering very simple guides and startup routes for LLCs. And we spoke briefly about the alternative, which was there's one person OPCs, there's one person company options, and you've also got, I think, working from home options as well, which was very, very difficult about 12, 15 years ago, where you had to have 200,000 reals or don't even think about it.
Yeah. Now it's easy working from home. Home-based businesses in Qatar is another thing that's huge. We did a study on this a couple of years ago, and I think there's 4,000 home-based businesses in Qatar, and this is just Qatari nationals. It's not including all the expats that have their own businesses at home as well. And we're talking small businesses, creative people that are making things in their own homes and selling them to the public. But these are entrepreneurs who are just waiting to accelerate their businesses into something more, and they can all be turned into, commercial. They can all be commercialized. They can all be commercialized at some point, and it's not, there's like a licensing fee to pay of about 1,000 riyals, if I'm not mistaken, but it isn't that difficult to legalize your home-based business.
No, and it wasn't possible. There were so many people that was doing something, but the fact that they've taken those steps, this goes back to what we were saying. Yeah. It goes back to taking those steps as a nation to realize what the expat and obviously the Qatari nationals are looking for, and promote the ability to be able to run your business. And as you and I both know, with social media and with the relevant expat groups available, then you have a free marketing tool. I mean, the amount of times that people are offering services, whether it's, I don't know, baking cakes or making particular gift packages. I mean, the creativity within the overall country, it's second to none. There's some amazing inventions out there and creations out there, and we're both aware of it.
This country provides so much opportunity. I think that's the key word, is that there's a lot of opportunity here for people to really thrive and create and innovate.
Do you think Qatar as a country is misunderstood outside the GCC?
I don't know, because I don't know what people, I don't have a thorough knowledge of what people think about Qatar. I'm really from the inside looking out. I can't position myself from the outside looking in, because I've been here for so long, and because my friends and family at home have, they see what they come when they used to be able to come and visit. So I don't know what that perception is. I remember doing a study a few years ago about what people thought about Qatar, and it was all around the World Cup, and there's confusion. People mix the countries together. They don't necessarily know what's Qatar and what's Dubai. And, is it all, does everybody have to wear a veil and, that kind of thing? Like there's confusion, but it's just all, lack of.
It's just PR and, as I say, misunderstandings if they haven't been here. I mean, my grandparents thought I lived in Dubai, and it got to a point when I used to go home so often to Scotland that they say, "How was Dubai?" and I would just answer and say, "Fine."
That's what I do.
I was sick of correcting them.
That's what I do all the time. It's you just get sick of correcting it. Yeah, I still work. I've been in Qatar for 12 years, but no, I'm still in Dubai.
You're still in Dubai. Both personally, what's your goals for the year? It's obviously been a tough year in 2020, so I think the goals have shifted, but personally, and then professionally, Intelligence Qatar, what does 2021 hold?
Yeah, so let's talk professionally first. So 2021, it started very, very well for us. We've opened a new CATI, so computer-assisted telephone interview facility. So it's like a call center, which we've opened by the old airport, so where we can get people to come in and do interviews for us, and pushing the business forward. Absolutely, so much work to be done here, so much work to be done in Qatar, and we're ready to take it all on. So that's
plenty of initiatives for you to focus on, plenty of improvements for you to go and orchestrate and research.
Yeah. Absolutely. And from a personal point of view, loads going on as well. So, I'm a writer. I write children's books, and I write young adult thrillers. I write cute little stories about animals for kids. And I also write these sort of dark and twisted young adult thrillers.
That's a diverse imagination.
It's the two extreme parts of my personality, I would say.
Hope you don't confuse the two.
No. No, my kids' books are all published here locally by HBKU Press, and also by Maktaba Children's Library. So I've got a couple of kids series there. And then my young adult thrillers, I've just sold the audio visual rights. I've just sold the movie rights. to one series. So I'm waiting to see what happens with that, because I've sold the option, which basically means a production company has the right now to make a movie from it. So we have to wait and see. So that's exciting. And
absolutely.
Yeah. And then I have so I'm going to write another book this year. Two, hopefully, one full novel and one kids book. So I have a famous dog who has become famous on TikTok for being slightly, let's say, different looking. He's a bit wonky. So he's racked up a huge amount of followers. So I'm doing a book for that, and another young adult book, and yeah, busy.
What would your that leads me on to something a bit diverse from an entrepreneurial perspective for you. What would your sort of tips be with regards to sort of time management? Something that I've always struggled with. You've got so many things, work-life balance with a family, with your writing, which you're obviously very passionate about. Social media is always in there. You've got to make time for that as well as your work. Any tips that you can give us to round off the episode?
Yeah. So I subscribe by this thing called the 5-second rule. And if I don't do, I basically give myself 5 seconds to get up out of my chair and go and do what I'm doing. Because if I leave it longer than 5 seconds, it's just not going to get done. So, I have an idea of how my day's going to go and what I'm going to do in that day. And it never works out that way. But if I get 5 seconds to think to myself, then I get up and I go, get up and do my workout, get up and find that book that I've been meaning to find that's going to give me some inspiration for what I'm writing. That's how I do it. I just don't think about it, just get up and do it.
So do you give yourself some downtime? I can't imagine you're sitting on the couch and going, I haven't done anything, I'm watching TV, I'm giving myself 5 seconds, I'm going to go and do something. But I can totally appreciate, and it's pretty similar to shaping your day. Is as simple as when you awaken, you can lie in bed and not get up and not go for that walk, or you can make that conscious decision to say, I'm going to get up. And as soon as you're up, you're up. It doesn't matter if it's 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. and you go for that walk. And I personally made a huge shift, turned the ripe age of 40 a few months ago. I know I look 35. And I just decided I was going to do something different. I wasn't going to go into the office just because I was out of bed. I was going to enjoy, go for a walk, have a coffee, get home at a reasonable time and spend some time with the family. Because before you know it, you've been in Qatar for 12 years. The kids are growing up. They're getting to an age in which you're missing them. And 100% appreciate what you've just said there, that making those conscious decisions to be as, I think, productive as possible within that 6, 7, 8 hours of solid productivity, rather than 3 hours of productivity and 3 hours of sifting through emails for the sake of it, and then you're stuck in the office when the kids are asleep. It's it makes a big difference to the day, and it makes a big difference to, as you say, that work-life balance.
Yeah, I haven't done this recently because I've been so busy, but what I used to do would be to get up and write and not check emails and not do anything, but get up and write whatever is in my head. That's when I'm the most creative. And to just get up and do 20 minutes of just pure free flow writing. And I'd knock out 1,000, 2,000 words. Some of them would not be very good. I would say, at least 60%, but
it's out of your mind.
And then on my weekends, I'll look back at what I've done, and then I can edit, and then I can really, they say, kill your darlings is what they say, which means cut out the things that you really, really love. But if they don't fit your story, then they've got to go. There's the 5 a.m. club. I don't know if you, I do that more often. I do it more often than I don't. So I don't do it completely as it's supposed to be, which is, 20 minutes, you get up 5 a.m., you do 20 minutes exercise, you do 20 minutes learning, and you do 20 minutes meditation. I can't do the meditation part. My brain is too, I just wired. I can't do that. And it still feels like a waste of time to me. I know it's not. And I know we need it, but I'm not quite subscribed to it yet. The exercise and the learning, I think, are brilliant, and then the writing as well for me is huge.
I can imagine you find those two second nature, and it's for those that haven't read or listened to it. The 5 a.m. Club. It's an amazing book because it's written in a completely and narrated in a completely different way from most.
Fictional.
It is absolutely the story. It draws you in because you think, where is this going? And the lessons are actually subtle. They're very, very subtle within. Within the book, and I haven't listened to it in a while, so I am going to go back and do that. But yeah, very much enjoyed it and did try it. But again, when it comes to those sleeping patterns and things, I tend to be more of a late night worker and maybe a little bit later in the morning. Each to their
I'm each to their own. I'm completely opposite. I will get everything I can done as early as possible, and then in the evening, you asked me about relaxing and TV. Absolutely. Like I'm TV queen because I call it research, anything that's a story helps me. Absolutely. So I pick up clues and cues from everything I watch, and I get inspired by everything. So any kind of story.
Yeah, you use it. Is there a book in everyone? Yeah,
of course there is. There's a story in everyone. There's many stories in everyone. Writing it is such a there's such a structure that if you don't know what that is, then it's impossible to write something good, I think.
Yeah, you get down a rabbit hole again, don't you?
Yeah. When I first decided I wanted to write, I always knew I was a writer. But when I first really I quit my job for 4 years. I decided from one day to the next, I'm out, I'm going to write. And I sat down at my computer and I stared at it, and then I went, what have I done? Because I didn't know where to start, what to do. And then I started writing, and I got halfway through my first novel and I was completely lost. And, really don't know what I'm doing. And it was then that I had to go back and learn. There is an art to writing, and there is a real craft, so many tricks and so many rules that you need to know before you actually write a story that works or something that's good. So it's a process, and it's definitely a learning curve for me. So I think there is a story.
It's something that it sounds like. Something that sounds like that you love and enjoy, and allows you to express yourself. As you say, if you get up in the morning and manage to get everything that was in there, and probably from what you've been thinking about or creating within your sleep, that you recall, it's probably the best time to do it.
It is.
Joanna, I've really enjoyed listening to you. Really enjoyed hearing about what it is that you do. We share a passion, which is Qatar. Hopefully we can continue to share that passion well beyond 2022. And even if you have a small influence in the improvements within this country, whether it be research or entrepreneurship, then I wish you all the success. Thanks very much for joining us on TIQ-TV. We'll be back next week. Thanks very much for joining us, Joanna Handley. Thank you for your time. Take care.
Thanks for inviting me.
You're very welcome. Stay on the line. We'll have a chat afterwards.
Sure.